Hi, my name is Benjamin. I'm 9 years sober. I continue every day to look to help others, to give back to those who have helped me, and to the community that's given me everything back into my life.
I'm Heather Champion. I'm a licensed mental health counselor with a private practice. I met Ben while working at an outpatient treatment center called The Retreat that's not here anymore. We've maintained our friendship since then and enjoy taking time to talk about therapy and our lives as champions.
Disclaimer: the content of this video is intended for informational use only. It is in no way intended as a replacement for medical or psychological advice. Should you have a medical or psychological issue, please consult with a medical professional. Okay, here we are again for the Real Champions podcast. This is episode 6. Ben says he's got a good story for us today.
Hello, everybody. So as we've been discussing recently is the inner child working and just kind of the self-exploration I've been going through. Interestingly enough, the other day, my mother reached out to me in regards to some transitions I'm going through in life. And my stepfather, I have four sets of parents, or four parents. Blessing is each one of them had played an integral role of who I am today. But as most people, we see the immediate. My mom and dad, the characteristics I got from them. My stepmother, somewhat to a degree, still trying to figure out what I got from her, other than my love of dogs. But I'm blessed for that love. But it was interesting because my stepfather has always been the one throughout my whole family that I've tried to make proudest of me. I've always tried to make him know that I'm trying to be like him. That yes, I've gone through a lot of mess ups in my life and he's protected me from a lot of things, but he's always been the one that self-consciously I want to make him the proudest of me. And there's moments in my life where I have and it means more than it does from when my dad is proud of me. So my mom texted me on Thanksgiving Day this whole thing about, this new transition in my life and things I should be looking at. She said, I want you to speak to your stepfather. And going into it, I knew that she wanted us to speak so he could talk me out of it from the more numbers reasons. Mm-hmm. Well, it turns out that I listened to him so well that every question that he had for me, I already did the checklist that he wanted without knowing. Mm-hmm. And then we started talking. It was very interesting. And he said to me, he said, Benjamin, do you realize I wasn't successful till after I was 40? And within a second, all my fear and all that anxiety of not being where I'm supposed to be, not being successful as I should be, it went away because I think the one person I want to look up the most let me know he was human too. Mm-hmm. And it allowed me to breathe for once in 10 years, since his recovery journey. Hearing him say that made me feel like I was doing the right things. I might be a little bit behind, okay, sure. But him saying that relieved all that pain. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing he said, Benjamin, do you know how I became successful though? And I said, well, no. He said, I learned how to read people in power. I learned how to read people who worked under me to make the best for them. And in that second, everything I've gone through in life had made sense. I am my stepfather. I just am not the educated version of him. Mm-hmm. I am the boots on the ground version of him. What is my strongest asset to myself, I believe? Building really strong teams around me, relationships like you and I have had for 9 years, right? I realized in that moment, he taught me all the things I'm very good at right now. I just didn't have a name for it. And it unlocked, I think, a part of my life that I blacked out for a long time. Mm-hmm. But, I couldn't, nor could my mom probably ask for a better holiday present than that conversation my stepdad and I had for 30 minutes.
So is he approving of the decisions you're making right now?
He is. He approved them. He understood why I was doing what I did. And when I looked at the math with him, that's how he speaks in numbers. So I was able to speak in numbers with him. And he understood where I was coming from. Mm-hmm. And that was relieving. And then it was also, that's part of the Jedi mind tricks that he has taught me this whole time is if you know you're going into a conversation with somebody who speaks numbers, not words, what do you come with? Mm-hmm. They've been teaching me this whole time, and I just realized it. And it was one of those aha moments that couldn't come at a better time in my life.
That kind of reminds me of like myself in a way because I'm horrible with money. I'm terrible with it. I do not know how to manage my money well. I work very, very hard at it. And especially when I was younger, I like to spend money frivolously on things I really couldn't afford. And I got myself into a lot of debt, had to work really hard to pay it off, paid it all off, got back into it again. I was like drowning in debt again. The next time, it wasn't really my fault so much as it was my decision to go back to school and become a therapist because I had a whole life before this. Um, and then like I've gotten better at like catching it before it gets to be the point where I'm drowning in it. But because of the fact that I'm not good with money, my mother is frugal, very frugal,
Mhm.
extremely frugal. And so I've gotten to the point in my life where if I'm hiding something that I want to do financially from my mother, then it's probably a problem.
Yep.
It if like, and I think to myself like, can I tell my mom about this? What would she ask me? Would she be approving of it? And I would I get into that in my own head, and it's kind of like, it's funny, like I had somebody a long time ago ask me, Heather, when are you done with therapy? Like, when am I done? When do I done not have to come here anymore? And I said, when your voice replaces mine in your head.
Mm.
That's when you've learned the lessons that you need. And he laughed at me and he's like, oh, I was like, I wonder how that would happen. I'm like, well, think about it from this perspective. Like, we talk enough where you have something going on, you're like, I wonder how Heather would respond to this. And so you kind of think about it, and then you come in, and he got to like he was funny because when as he went through this process with me, he would get really excited when he would have something, and he would be like, "So what do you think about that?" And I would give him my feedback, and he'd be like, "I knew that's what you were gonna say. This, I'm doing good. I'm doing good." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." And by the time he got to that point where he could totally predict how my responses would be, he was like, "I think I'm good." But that's part of like learning to embed, someone else's thinking into your own thinking. And that's when you start to really own it. And the fact that you were able to predict kind of what your stepfather was going to ask you, have answers to those questions way ahead of time. That kind of reminds me of my mom and I, the way that we communicate. And like the fact that we're trying to take a part of somebody, right, that we respect, and we're trying to make it a part of ourselves. So it's the same type of a thing as when I'm working with somebody who's trying to change their thinking about something else, more emotional, where when my voice replaces theirs in my head, that's when I own it. That's when it's mine. However, on the flip side of that, we can do that not only with positive things, but with negative things.
That's that inner child work.
Well, that's when that negative thought content comes in, right? That negative inner dialogue that comes in, where it's not just, like as far as like my relationship with like my parents is concerned, right? There were times when my mom would call me lazy because I didn't want to clean the house on Saturday morning. I wanted to sit and watch cartoons and eat
Mm.
breakfast. Like that's what I want to do. And so there's still a voice in my head, at least there was. I've worked on this really hard that tells me that I'm lazy if it's time off and I'm not staying busy.
Yeah, I am that too.
Right. So there's like good and there's bad of it, right? So like the good we want to hold on to because of the things that are helpful for us, but the bad we want to try to let go of. We want to like say, no, it's okay that I sit here and I watch television and I eat Cheerios and watch some cartoons if that's what I want to do on my Saturday morning. Like if that's my time to down my downtime, then that's what I'm going to do for my downtime. I actually remember one time, this is going back a long time ago. When I lived on Long Island, we used to do Sunday dinners every Sunday. It was when my two nieces were really small, and I got to see them every Sunday. And I get over to my mom's house one Sunday, and I'm like, I'm so tired, and I could barely get like my laundry done. Like I'm so tired. And I was like, I just sit there on the couch and I just feel so guilty for sitting on the couch and doing nothing. And my mother's like, well, there's nothing wrong with you sitting on the couch and doing nothing. I'm like, yeah, there's this voice in my head that keeps telling me I'm lazy for doing that. She's like, well, you can't have that. You can And I'm like, it's your voice, mother. It's because you said that to me when I was a child, that it's in my head. I've had to deal with my own like mother inner voice, yelling at me and telling me that I'm lazy for not doing things that, she got mad at me for not doing years ago.
I've been through that self-exploration myself too recently. Weekends is big for me. Planning on Friday night what I'm doing Saturday morning to the T. Wake up, do laundry, take dogs out. And I've recognized it this weekend where like, I kind of yelled at myself in my own head, like, what am I planning things for? Like, tomorrow's my day off. Tomorrow I can do those things in the order I choose to do them. It doesn't have to be done by 12. Where's that come from? And it does come from waking up early as a child and me putting to work. This is your morning chores on a Saturday.
Mhm.
And part of me is very grateful for it. Like I am very grateful that was embedded in me. Saturday morning, wake up, clean the house.
Mhm.
But Friday night it drove me nuts because that's what consumed my brain was okay, get this done, get this done, get this done. And
Mhm.
it was like 8 o'clock, and I had to remind myself, like, I still have 3 more hours of being awake. What am I doing all this for? What expectations am I trying to meet that no one's asking of me?
Mhm. Yeah.
But again, I think it is a pro and con thing. I'm happy I acknowledged it,
Mhm.
but I'm also very proud that I stick to those things, that my house is clean every Saturday morning by 11 o'clock in the morning. So it's one of those things that, like I said, this whole adventure I've been on recently is just acknowledging things. Okay, that's where this comes from. Is it bad? Not necessarily. Can it? Yeah, if I get overconsumed in it.
Mhm. Yeah, we have to be careful, like the negative thought content, that because that'll put you down pretty fast. That's Unfortunately, it'll really knock you down and it'll really become a hard thing to work your way out of because it's overwhelming. The negative thoughts that kind of come in and tell us these horrible things about ourselves. And that's like a really one of the main things that I really try to get to when I'm working with people is what are some of those things that we're telling ourselves and why are we telling them to ourselves? Like, where did that come from? Where is that? It's not necessarily like an evil spirit coming and dropping it into your brain. You learned that from someplace.
Mhm.
Where did you learn it from?
And that's where a lot of these connections are starting to be made. Like through this book I'm reading, just it's eye-opening in a good way. It's okay, now I can acknowledge it. Now it's written down, so now I can't escape from the acknowledgement of it. It's no
Mhm.
longer am I acknowledging this thing in my head where only I can hear it. Now I'm reading it where millions of other people have read that same paragraph, that same exact sentence, and probably got a feeling of connection.
Mhm.
And that's really helped me recently too. And then having, great people in my life like yourself to say, hey, I made this connection. Am I going the right direction with it?
Yeah. I can read you my favorite passage from a book, and
Do it.
I read it to people when they're getting ready. So this is my absolute favorite book of all time. It's called When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chodron. Um, and it's about our fear of fear.
Hmm.
And it's each of the chapters, and I recommend this for people all the time. I actually keep copies of this book in my office and I give them away to people.
Oh, wow.
Because that's how much I like this book. It's really about learning how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable and learning how to manage what goes on. So this is I'm gonna it's the one of the it's the third chapter in the first third paragraph rather in the first chapter. The first chapter is called Intimacy with Fear. Fear is a natural reaction to moving closer to the truth. Fear is a universal experience. Even the smallest insect feels it. We wade in the tidal pools and put our finger near the soft, open bodies of sea anemones, and they close up. Everything spontaneously does that. It's not a terrible thing that we feel fear when faced with the unknown. It's part of being alive, something we all share. We react against the possibility of loneliness, of death, of not having anything to hold on to. Fear is a natural reaction to moving closer to the truth.
Truth.
I love this book. I
Yeah,
really,
fear is
yeah.
you're moving towards the thing you don't want to deal with.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So when you start to get shaky, you start to get scared, you start to try to run away. You have to think about, well, why? Like, why am I so scared of what's going on here? Why is this negative kind of voice in my head telling me that no, you can't do this, and no, you're not good enough, and no, this will never work out? Because that's not really what's going on.
You're really
That's just
growing.
it's fear talking to you, right? And keeping you stuck because fear will keep you stuck where you are. It will prevent you from moving forward. It will prevent you from trying a zip line. It will prevent you from eating, weird looking food. It'll prevent you from talking to somebody that you admire. It will prevent you from doing a lot of things. And the only things in life that I regret is when fear got in the way.
That's what I'm learning currently.
Mhm.
Is fear has blocked a lot of things. But what I'm also learning to take with everything is gratitude.
Mhm.
I was talking to a friend this morning and I kind of just made the self-analysis of, yeah, sure, could I face this fear 3 years ago? Absolutely. But sometimes things are just right when they're supposed to be.
Right.
Right. There's enough transition in my life at this point that this opportunity came at a time where everything else is scary around me. Scary in the sense of change and movement. And what better time for the universe to put something in front of me? If, hey, you want to work on this inner child, you want to say to the world you're working on something, then show it. Not
Mhm.
only to the world, but to yourself, most importantly to myself.
Right.
And that's why I think this opportunity came in a weird time when it did, how it did. But it's also, I would be letting fear win if I didn't take it.
Mhm.
I would be exactly where I was 2 weeks ago, other than I'm just more acknowledging of things, but I'm not working on things. And for somebody that came through AA, without works, it's dead, you
Mhm.
know? So, and I was watching the movie The Secret the last couple of nights, and one of the things they say is the law of attraction. Well, what's the last part of the word attraction? Action. And that just stuck with me as I was making the decision. I just kept thinking, well, I'm attracting all these cool things to myself. Thank you,
Mhm.
universe. But if I don't do anything with them,
Then you're
then we're going to be
useless.
having this conversation in 2 weeks of
Mhm.
why did you not do anything? Well, because fear. And I
So,
don't want to do that anymore.
so we're all like, I know that one of the things I struggle with is the fact that I'm painfully shy, and I mean painfully shy. Nobody that knows me, that sees me out and about and doesn't know me personally will ever realize how shy I am. Because I come off as a lot more confident than I really am.
I know that
So,
feeling.
so the thing is that COVID kind of did a number on my social skills, like a lot of other people. And I know this is something I really need to work on. So I've been trying to think. I live in this teeny little small town. It's so hard to make friends. It's so hard to meet people here. It's like I just stay in my little hole in my house and hang out with my dogs and my cats. I was like, no, I need to like figure out a way to get out there and like try to interact with people and whatever. So I was thinking, I'm like, I could go see a therapist if I really wanted to work on my fear, but I know me. I know how I'm going to be. I know my pattern. I gotta go and do. I have to get out there and like push, in a therapeutic environment, obviously, but I gotta go to the do. So I signed up for an all-day course down in Tampa that is psychodrama. It's a training in
Okay.
psychodrama because I know that the only way I'm going to work on my stuff is through something like that. Having talk therapy, I'm smarter than a lot of people. So if somebody tries to like twist me and get me to talk about things, like I know the tricks. I teach them. You kidding me? No. That's not going to work. I need to do something completely out of the box. So I'm going to do psychodrama training on Friday.
That should be fun though.
Yeah, I'm like I'm very nervous, obviously, but I really need to work on this aspect of who I am. We got to
We're in the
do our
same
own
boat,
thing.
my friend. We're in the same boat.
Yeah, it's kind of gotta get it to be better, not having a lot of friends, it's fine. It's just it would be nice to be able to connect with more people in the world.
Yeah, I say that myself too. And then when I get home around my dogs, I realize now I'm kind of good.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that, is one of those things where I guess selfishly and self-consciously, my plan is, hey, when they pass, then I'll go be social. But for myself, I guess it's part of my abandonment stuff I have to work through is I signed up to take care of these dogs 24/7.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, that means I don't have to be social for 7 years. You know what? I'd rather be with them than out and about with people.
Well,
Yeah.
that's my dogs are so social. Like they love to socialize. They have to go out for their walks every day. We have to go stop and visit the neighbors. They are the most social animals I know. Way more social than I can ever be. And like they bring socialization into my life that I wouldn't find in other ways.
Yeah.
But the thing is that once the two dogs that I have pass, I don't think I'm gonna get any more because this has been a lot.
Well, we know that fact is not true. We know you're gonna
I
get another one.
I'll be done for a while because
For a
Becky
while.
is like having five in one shot.
My dogs, actually, now that you said that, we always have all our neighbors are very, very kind people, and they're always out in the morning as I drive by, so we do the friendly neighbor wave. And recently, the one neighbor who always just is intriguing me, he has like a really nice bike and garage setup, so it's just always nice going by his house and seeing the cool bike. Recently, because of the dogs and our common hate for the neighborhood cat, we started talking every time I walked by. And like normal, I wanted, hey, sir, how are you? Okay, keep it moving. And I kind of, like you said, I realized, oh, if I'm not going to go search out my own connection without my dogs, then I need to find a connection with my dogs.
Mhm.
So I started using that as, even though it's uncomfortable for me because my one dog likes people, the other doesn't. So it's awkward for me. It's not about me. Like I'm being brought out in public for that reason. My dogs are the conduit to a new experience.
Mhm.
So even within myself, every day I do say this to myself. Next weekend I'm going to stop by the neighbor's house, but that's hard to do just out of the blue. So I
Mhm.
realize these little doggy walks are going to make that an easier thing. If I happen to just go on a walk by myself and I see them, it's now no longer awkward. Hey man, how are you? Light spike. So as you said that, I kind of realized, oh, that's kind of what I've been doing the last couple of days is, hey, if the one day I'm walking without the dogs, now I already have a connection. I can speak without the dogs there because we have some type of rapport.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that might be my only glimpse of the outside world for now. But you know what? At the end of the day, I truly believe as long as I keep talking, being honest about where I'm at,
Mhm.
I have my group of moron friends that we talk throughout the whole day, every day, so I'm never alone. But I think I'm okay with it is, hey, when my dogs pass, that's my time to go be social. For now, I'm gonna do the best I can through my phone, but
Mhm.
I'm happier being with them anyway than people. Because just like yourself, people can talk to me, but a lot of times, I'm not really there for that. I'm still seeking me.
Mhm.
I've noticed that a lot recently, is I really don't care about what other people are saying or thinking in the sense of trying to find new relations. I'm not at that point yet. I still need to find me, and I think part of that is just saying that out loud is, yeah, I want to go meet new people. I want to go be social. Reality is, I don't care to be social. I don't care to go meet new people.
Mhm.
That's what the world expects me to do.
Mhm.
My reality is, I'm shy just like yourself. If I'm not in it to be fully me, then I shouldn't be in it to begin with.
Yeah.
But that's life on life's terms, and that's how we figure things out. You have a bunch of good people around you that help keep you online. When you need to go back to therapy and talk to somebody a little more in depth about something. At the end of the day, if you can start being a little more honest with yourself, you're going to find the path you want.
Mhm. Yes. And recognizing your own patterns and how to break them is the best part. So anyhow, that is a wrap for today. This has been the Real Champions podcast, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Adios.
Real Champions podcast, episode 6, Fear. What does it mean to be a champion when that's your name? The Real Champions podcast is co-hosted by Heather Champion and Benjamin Champion. It's edited by Heather Champion. Produced by Maitrey Counseling Services, all rights reserved. Questions or comments can be referred to Heather at Maitrey Therapy, MAITRI-therapy.com.
You are not alone. Remember, if you or someone you know is struggling with thoughts of suicide, please call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-TALK. For local help, dial 211 on your phone to be connected to resources in your area. If you experience mental health or substance abuse issues, please call the National Alliance or Mental Health or NAMNI at 1-800-950-NAMNI. Or in a crisis, text NAMI, NAMI, to 741-741. Check out the NAMI website, nami.org, for additional resources.